In this video, we're going to set up our project and start blocking our fighters. Okay, so here we are in Begin 01, if you want to follow with me, and there are our fighters here, and we have to start blocking our characters. But before doing that, we have to create our custom tools. The reason of that is because once we are going to create this complex animation, it's going to be a point where it's not going to be that easy to be managed. But if we create our tools now, it's going to be really easy to manage it, and we're not going to struggle along the way. So the first thing that we have to do is create a new shelf. So we go on this arrow here and we choose new shelf, and we call it anim fight. Okay, so this is our new shelf, and what we have to do is start to fill it the shelf with new tools. And our first new tool is going to be our custom layout. As a custom layout, I mean, now I'm going to show you the one I've already created is dt_fight. This is the custom layout that I mean. So some 3-point of view in order that is going to be able to see everything what's going on. Instead of work on a 4 view, it's going to be really uncomfortable to see. But we got here the tools that we need. So we got our camera previously created, and we have here our graphic editor and our perspective view. So everything is going to be updated here, is going to be viewed in the camera and on the graph editor, obviously. So now we're going to create this kind of layout, and to do that we're going on to our 4 view, and we're going to panel, and we choose layouts, and we decide 3 panel split top. This is the one I've used for this tutorial. All right, so we click on that, and we have side view, top view, and perspective view. And this is not exactly what we want. We want here, for example, we have perspective. Great. So on top view, we want our camera, and this is still free to be rotated and translated. The reason of because anything is being animated now, so we don't really need to focus on the camera that follows the animation. So, and in this view we're going to pull our graph editor. So we go into layout and onto panels, and we choose graph editor. Cool. Okay, so now we have that. We have to save out this layout, and the way to do this is to go on Windows, and we choose Save Current Layout, and we decided to call anim fight. Okay, so now we don't find this kind of layout on a shelf. Why is that? The reason is because we have to go on Windows back again, and on saved layout you go on to edit layouts. Okay, so in this case we have to find out our anim fight, and we choose add to shelf. Okay, so now if we go on a 4-side view, we click on this button, it's gonna take us back on the layout that we previously saved, and this is going to be really handy in order to don't recreate again the same layout all the time, and it's going to be really frustrating and time wasting basically. Okay, so the second tool that we have to create, going back into our perspective view, before doing all the rest we have to make sure that every view has got NURBS and polygons only loaded on this list. Yes, the manipulator obviously because we need it, but not everything else, because otherwise it's going to be really confusing on select our handles here. So in this camera as well, we make sure is in this case we choose none, and we choose NURBS, GURVs, and polygons. In graph editor, we don't really need to do that. Okay, so after that, we have to make sure that both characters have got IK on legs. So we click on the C and we choose IK and IK. And there we are. Okay, so both characters has got IK on legs and FK on the upper side. Alright, so now that we have only our NURB curves and polygons active, and we have to make sure that the layer on Karate is on reference and the capoeira as well. So in order to don't select the polygon. Okay, so now we grab a big selection and we shift and drag only this kind of controller. This is the main controller, and we don't usually animate it unless there is some really exceptional animation on the character flying on stuff. But this character is just going to jump and is gonna be alright for this animation. Okay, so we go on create and we choose sets and we choose quick selection sets. Okay, so now we type karate, and instead to press OK, which is gonna take us the selection sets on an outliner, we decide to add to shelf. So we're gonna do the same with the capoeira, and I will show you later what happens. Okay, so we do the same with the capoeira, and we go again on create quick selection sets, and we go in capoeira. We go on add to shelf. Okay, so now if I press karate, it's gonna select my controllers, and instead capoeira is gonna do the same for the capoeira character. So this is really handy if we want to start to clean up and define at the beginning our timing, so it's not gonna mess up with the other translation or rotation. Okay, so I think everything is okay now, so we're gonna just finish to set up our timing here. So we're going on settings and we decide 24 frames per second. We go to animation and our weight tangent is the fold in tangent plateau, and the fold out tangent is gonna be stepped. This is gonna be the stepped curve effect, so every frame is gonna jump exactly onto the other pose. Once obviously we're gonna start to keyframe it. Okay, so now we are ready to start pose our characters, and we're gonna start to rotate this here, and we are going to move here this handle, and we have to make sure that we're gonna switch between local and world just for the poses in these cases, but after that we're gonna keep working on local. So now we just go on world, and we are going to start to pose our character in this way. So okay, and we just slow down the wrist, okay, so we're gonna spread out the legs, and we're gonna push this hip a little bit forward now, because we don't really want any kind of artifacts. So we grab those legs and we choose, let's say 3, and minus 3 in this case. Okay, so we put the hip a little bit down and maybe the legs spread it a little bit more. Great. So everything is gonna be very well refined. At the moment we are roughing the block because after that we have all our poses, we are going to refine the poses, because if the poses are set up correctly and on the right timing, all the animation is gonna be really nice and smooth, and is gonna give us less problem that they should, basically. Okay, so we load down this arm because the karate pose is really static and straight like a soldier. So even this kata to give a bit more silhouette, and is gonna face straight onto the capoeira fighter, sorry. Okay, and later on we're gonna fix the hands, so we're just going to rotate it like that. And I think the capoeira is fine, so I'm gonna start jumping to local now, because this is just a posing process, so anything can happen while you pose the kata, but if we jump on both, it's gonna help us to get the rotation that we need. So, and we're gonna push the hip a little bit forward and our chest up. Alright, so the face up, and this arms a little bit back, ready to get in action. Okay, alright, so here we are. This is our first pose, and into the next video we're gonna keep posing our kata.